welcome to the Fat Quarter Shop live stream for January 10th, 2024. Today we're going to be doing a finishing tutorial. So I'm just going to show you how we're finishing shelf life, and let's just kind of get started. So shelf life, here's our piece, unfinished. This is what we're going to be finishing today. And when we're going to stitch on it, what we're going to be doing is starting here. This is the small white wooden easel display. It can either just hang on a wall or it comes with a stand. More will be in stock soon. Okay, so so we have our piece. We have a 9x12 sticky board. You need 5 for the whole series or just 1 if you're doing this one. You need finishing tape. We are using the It's So Emma 3/4 inch by 30 foot finishing tape, batting, and even though the piece is black, we are using just regular 80/20 cotton regular batting. We are going to be using a stiletto by Annie, and I would just get whatever the cheapest one you can get is because you're going to kind of get it sticky. We're going to be using a hot glue gun. We're going to use 2 washers that are 1 inches, and that's going to mount it on here. That's going to be these 2. These 2 are 1/2 inch, and these are going to be for your ribbon. We're going to be using ribbon and embellishment and then just basic sewing supplies. Now what I did want to mention is we have a stiletto, 2 pair of scissors, and a rotary cutter that we only use for cross stitch finishing because it will kind of, all the stickiness of the board, the tape, the glue gun, it will ruin it. So this is, when I start cutting and stuff, you're going to see this is not sharp. So let's start finishing. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to mount our cross stitch design. One thing I forgot is this piece right here is used for the back. This is 9300-90. This one we're going to permanently glue to our board, our easel display, so it's not going to come up. And then this right here is the Chelsea's Checks Fat Quarter Bundle, and we're going to use a different one each time, and then this is going to go like that each time. Now you could obviously glue everything down and have 12 different ones, totally up to you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to iron my cross stitch piece. So here's my piece, and if you see this, this is where my needle was. Okay, so what I like to do is you can just use a towel or you can use a pressing cloth. This is the Yarn Tree pressing cloth. I'm going to turn my piece upside down and stitch on the iron on the wrong side. You can use steam or not, it's totally up to you. And then when you turn that over, what I'm looking for is I'm just looking to make sure I don't have any creases in here that you can see because we're going to be finishing right here. So, I'm not worried about anything out here, and it looks good. Get any kind of fuzz off. So this piece is black Monaco. So I did want to point out to you, do not use a friction pin. If you use a friction pin, which is something we use in quilting a lot, if you use a friction pin on dark fabric, it will leave a white line. So do not use this pin. Okay, so I'm going to kind of show you what we're going to be doing. Well, I am going to show you what we're going to be doing. So we're finishing all the way to the edge here and the edge on the bottom, and then we're leaving, like a little bit at the top. It's like 3/8, 1/4, something like that. So what you want to do is you want to measure your design, and you want to measure this way and this way plus 3/8 of an inch, and jot that down on a sticky note and cut your sticky board to that size. So that's what we've done. We've taken the 9x12 and we already cut this. And when I cut, I do use a rotary cutter that, you know, like I said, it's only for cross stitch finishing. Some people use a guillotine cutter or something like that, so use whatever you want. So this is the piece that I'm going to use for my cross stitch piece. Then what we want to do is we want to cut this piece so we have 1 inch margin, 1 inch margin, 1 inch margin, and 1.5 inch margin. And this does not have to be exact. So we're going to cut. So like I said, 1 inch, the bottom, right? 1 inch from the bottom. And I want to point out, you can see that my piece is not 100% straight. You know, you can see it's kind of wavy. See that little wave? I'm going to get that out, and I'm going to show you how. Like I said, this doesn't have to be exact. What I'm trying to do here is have fabric that I pull to the back, but not too much fabric so that it's not too bulky. Now up here, we need 1.5 inches. Okay. So we have our sticky board cut. We have our cross stitch piece cut. We're using this 80-12 batting. So what I'm going to do is just peel this off. And you can actually peel it off with a stiletto if you want. These are always the hardest. There it goes. And then I'm going to put the sticky side down on my batting, and I'm going to hit it so it stays, and I want to make sure it's not going to come off. Now, just so you know, we're only using batting on the cross stitch piece. On our 2 fabric pieces, we will not be using batting. And I'm going to cut around it with the rotary cutter. And like I said, this is not a sharp blade, so it won't always be coming off easy. And if you wanted to, for all 12, you could go ahead and prep all of these because it will be a similar enough size. So if you want to save time, you could do all 12 of these, 1 of these, and then you would wait on these to see which one you want to use. Okay, so now I'm going to take off the sticky note with the size, and I'm going to use finishing tape. And I'm going to do the 2 long sides first. So I'm going to go all the way to the edge. And these are my poor little scissors that are real sticky. We put a little note on them that says they're for paper. Okay, then I'm going to use this stiletto. Shout out to Cheryl who finally told us how to do this because me and Denise couldn't figure it out for years. And we're going to put this right side together. And I'm going to kind of look. And like I said, right to the end, so I'm going to put it right here and then just go down a tiny bit. Now this we can remove it and redo it. So I'm not going to stick it all the way down. I'm going to kind of do this on the edge and just leave it, and then we'll come back to it. Then I'm going to go to the other side, and the longer side first is great because I just feel like it's the harder one, so doing the harder one first will help you. And shout out to Denise, she came up with all of this. I'm pretending I know what I'm doing. She's standing to the side and telling me what to do. Okay, and I can already tell this might be crooked. It looks really good, actually. Okay, so I'm going to stick it down. Now I'm going to stick it down. And then I'm just going to kind of look, and looks good. Any kind of fuzz you can just kind of get off as you go. Then I'm going to take that same sticky tape, finishing tape, go all the way edge to edge on top of the black. Use the stiletto. It's magic. Really, guys, it's magic. Okay, so here, I'm going to take this, and I'm not going to do this because that creates a lot of bulk. So I'm going to do it a little bit smaller, like that. And then I'm going to pull that down. And I'm not going to push it down real hard. I'm just going to kind of let it sit there. I'm going to go to the other side. Go in a little bit. Pull it down. Okay, then I'm going to look at the top. And you can see right there, see how it's kind of bubbled up a little bit? Undo it, pull it, and you want to pull it taut. Still not sticking it all the way down, and it looks good. Now, from the front, I'm just pulling my fingers down because what that's going to do is just pull it straight. And then I'll stick it down. And then you can kind of, you know, use your stiletto. Just be careful using that. Don't stick it on the front. And that looks really good. I probably should have done the bottom first, but hopefully it works. Okay. Same thing. So you can see it's wavy, so I can easily fix that. I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to pull this down a little bit. Stretch it. It's kind of longer over here, so just kind of stretch it. And since this is secure, pulling it is going to make it work. So it's looking better. I still need to stretch it a little bit more. And now it's straight. And just so you know, show the front screen how I am. I'm like moving my body kind of closer to it. Like I kind of have to zoom down. Like it's too hard to do it like this. So just like get close to it. Don't be afraid to get close to it. And like I said, don't pull it all the way down. From here, just pull it. Okay, and it looks good. My corners are a little off, and I'll show you how to fix that. So that looks pretty straight. So here, see, I just want it, see that bubble right there? I want that to go away. So what I'm gonna do is just make sure I got that in. Okay, now I'm gonna go to this corner, pull this up, and I just need to pull this in a little bit. Pull it in. It just needs to come in a little bit more. You just have to finagle it. Yep, that looks better. And you can always set this aside and come back and finagle the corners later. So that looks good. So we have our cross stitch piece done. That's the math on that. Now we're gonna do the piece that goes below it. So we've taken our original numbers, which are here, and added 1/2 inch to the width and 1/2 inch to the height, so that will give you a 1/4 inch here 1/4 inch here. So you take this number, which is why we wrote it down, add 1/2 inch. Take this number, add 1/2 inch, and you get this number. This is what you cut for the sticky board. Like I said, we're not going to use batting on this piece. What I am going to do is run the iron over it just real quick. Make sure you don't see any creases. Right side down. Pull the paper off. Put this down. Just kind of put it in the center. And what we've done here is we just cut a piece out. Just, you know, you need about 1 inch around. But here, it's important that you get it so that your plaid is straight. So you kind of want to look to make sure. I should have looked at it before, but it actually came out pretty straight. It's a little bit. Let me try it again. So what I'm going to do here, and like I said, I'm bending down, is I want to get right there on that top. See how I'm lining up that? Just kind of eyeball it. Pretty straight. Okay. And I'm going to cut around it like 1 inch or so, just so that it's not too bulky on one side. That's enough. It's good. I didn't get it exactly centered. Now we're going to do the same thing with the finishing tape. Long sides first. Black Monica will be back in stock. We don't know when. We are waiting on an answer from the manufacturer. We actually are holding that Black Monaco for the Sayings of the Seasons Club. So, you know, we email them once a week and see what happens. See what they answer. So I'm going to do one side first. And here, I'm just going to kind of start in the middle. And then see there's a little wave. There's a little wave there. Just want to get it nice and flat. Do the same thing over here. Oh, I gotta pull the tape off first. Sorry, Denise. Denise is like, I gotta pull the paper off. I guess I would have eventually figured that out, huh? Okay, look at the front. The pokey stick, this is a by Annie stiletto. This is kind of a more expensive stiletto. The reason we're using it is the point is really sharp. So I would say the disadvantages is expensive. The advantages is super sharp. You could use a cheaper stiletto because you're only going to be using it for cross stitch. You just need it to be sharp because otherwise it's not going to hook in. So that looks straight. Then I can kind of push it down on the tape all the way. And let me tell you guys, just save this video, refer to it, and you can do this because if I can do it, you can do it. So here, and this fabric right here is Chelsea's checks. The smaller checks are Chelsea's checks and the larger checks are Priscilla's plaids. Same thing here. Turn a little bit, pull. And when you're pulling, you just want to make sure you don't get a, on the front, you don't want to crease. So we'll just kind of start here. And then just go across. But your goal is, it doesn't matter what it looks like on the back, but you don't want it to be like circle-y on the outside. You want it to be more of a point. Okay. I just pulled the whole thing off. Same thing. And that, you know, you just kind of finagle it. So that looks good. So this goes on top of this, and this goes on top of this. Now, we've already done this piece because it's the same as the other two. No batting. So batting, no batting, no batting. Summary. You take your cross stitch piece. We're going to keep it the same on the bottom, the left and the right, and leave about 3/8 to 1/4 inch above. Add 1/2 inch to each side to cut this. From here, add another 1 inch to each side. So this one, you're going to add 1 inch. Where's the sticky? Sorry. So you basically take this, add 1 inch, and then that's how you get this piece. So adding those sticky notes is really helpful because you don't forget where you were at. And then this leaves, since you made it 1/2 inch bigger, it leaves 1/4 inch around. Since you added 1 inch here, it leaves 1/2 inch around. Okay, so now the hard part. To me, that was kind of, okay, now we need to get all of this onto our easel board. Ribbon last. Okay, so this is our easel board. And again, these will be back in stock any day. We have these made locally, and he sends them to us in batches. So we're going to take, because we're using the same Priscilla plaid and gray for every design, we're going to hot glue this directly onto here. And we're going to just eyeball it, I think. Yep. So I'm going to kind of get my head in here a bit so I can make sure. So that looks good. I'm going to get this out of the way. Get this out of the way, and I'm going to hot glue it. The key to a hot glue gun is to have a hot one and to not burn yourself. So what I'm going to do is just pull this up because it's about the right spot. And I'm just going to glue. Hopefully not all the way to, hopefully I don't get any glue on the outside. And so you just want to make it, now you need to let this sit here for a long time. Don't rush it. Let this sit here. Now, excuse me. Right here, can I get a water real quick? Sorry. Right here, you can feel the heat. It's okay. You can feel the heat. So you want to make sure before you start messing with this, the heat is gone. It's actually like if it's cold outside, you can do that. It's hot. Okay, so we've got that. Move this out of the way. Now we're going to add magnets. And it really doesn't matter which way you go, but what Denise does is she does the magnets first. So we're going to hot glue these down. Okay, so this is a 1 inch magnet, And I'm just placing it about 1.5 from the top and 1.5 from the bottom. I'm gonna just kind of look to make sure I'm about in the right ballpark. 1.5. Okay. So I want the edge to be 1.5 or the middle?
No, the edge.
Okay, so perfect. So then the key here is to try to not get glue around the outside where you're gonna see it, which is kind of the hard part. And I'm gonna do the same thing where I just pull this, kind of make your, like kind of wipe it before you pull it up so that your glue doesn't start dragging. So a lot of glue, wipe it. Oh, I just burned myself. Ow, 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 ow. I just burned myself. Ooh, that hurt. Woo! Stick these down. Oh my goodness. Let that sit. Wow, I just burned myself. Okay, and then get any glue off the thing. Okay, so here you go. Now what we need to do is put these on top of the magnets. Let this sit. And we need to glue this down permanently, right? Make sure I'm doing. Ooh, I burned myself. That hurt. Okay, so here you want this to be, like I said, about 1/4 inch around, and that, you know, you just kind of put your face right in it and make sure it's right. Woo! So here I'm gonna move this, and I'm gonna glue the. I'm just gonna glue it. You want to glue it where hopefully it doesn't ease out the side, because then you have to clear it off. But if it eases out the side, you just want to make sure you have something you can clean it off with. And so just kind of move it around before you hit it. And it has to sit. You could put like something heavy like a book or something on top of it so that helps secure it. But I'm just going to kind of move these aside. And we're going to talk about the bows before we do the next part, which is the magnets. The magnets are going to go on the back of this to go onto here, but let's let it sit and let's let my finger stop burning. So ribbons. We bought this ribbon, Hobby Lobby. Okay, we cut a 7-inch piece for the bottom. We cut a 14-inch piece for the top. So this piece right here that goes across is 7 inches. The piece on the top is 14 inches. And you're gonna wanna go on the Fat Quarter Shop YouTube to this video that is called How to Make Bows with Priscilla and Chelsea from Stitching with the Housewives. We followed this tutorial to make our bow, and then we just got this little embellishment at Hobby Lobby, and it came like this in a package. Just this is what it looks like. So that's how you make your bow. So we'll put this one back. Oh, I need to put my magnet in here. So that's how you make your bow. I think doing another tutorial during this, I probably messed up. Okay, see right there? I have some glue. Now that it's dried, it comes right off. Okay. This I'm gonna try to put without burning myself. Okay, there's a little bit of glue coming off of it. Once it dries, it'll just come off. And it doesn't have to be like, I mean, I can tell it's a little bit off, but it's fine because you can just move it around. So now we're gonna do this. These are 1/2 inch. These are 1-inch washers. So again, 1-inch magnets, 1-inch washers, 1/2-inch magnet, 1/2-inch. So you have to add that to the back of here. You have to add this to the back of here, the washers. Okay, so she's gonna do the washer one because she doesn't want me to mess it up and my finger is burning. And then this one, it doesn't have to be exact. The easiest way to attach 1-inch washers is to place your washers on your magnets, add glue to the washers, and center your piece. So let me do that real quick. See, I just have to read the script. And let that sit there. Do not move. And then Bex from Texas says aloe vera. Yes, thank you. And I'm going to let that sit. And then what you do is once everything is dry, you can put this on here. And it will look like this. And then you can add, well, this is already added, but you could add it before or after. So basically this interchanges and this interchanges. So that is our tutorial for shelf life. And again, this is a, oh, I'm gonna, yes. Dun, 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 dun. Look fast. That is a tease to the February shelf life. Now I get to tease something else. So I'm gonna just move this to the side. We'll let it dry. We'll go get some aloe vera. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have a big old thing. Okay, I'm gonna tease something else. I started this weekend. This is a tease to the Sayings of the Season 2024 Quarterly Cross Stitch Club. And here is a tease to something else. This is not the bag that it's gonna go in, but I just wanted to kind of tease it. So that is exclusive to Fat Quarter Shop. Check all that out on Fat Quarter Shop. Now I'm going to show you flash sale. So 2 things. The first thing is Pistachio 14 count Ada by Fiber on a Whim. And this is what it looks like, and then I'm going to hold it to the camera. And it's easier to see this way, and then also this gardening apron is flash sales for today. Flash sales only last 24 hours, and we try to always do really good ones on Wednesdays for our cross stitch people who watch my FlossTube. And then I'm going to show you some new things that are in at Fat Quarter Shop, and I'd love for you to put comments in, any questions you have, anything I didn't cover, so that I have time to answer those. So we have 2 new patterns from Stitching with the Housewives. Love Notes is a Valentine roundabout, so there's going to be 5 of these in January. And then the Valentine House, there will be 5 of these, and this is the Sassy Strippers series. The roundabouts will be round. The Sassy Strippers will be skinny and rectangular. And I will be stitching these as part of the Be Mine stitch along that I do in February, and I will be stitching on more of the petal pink that we dyed, and we have a video on our channel of how to dye Ada or any cross stitch cloth, but basically we dyed more, and when Denise dyed these, she dyed it slightly lighter, so less. She left it in the dye just a little bit shorter time, so it would be a little bit lighter, just because we noticed that Priscilla and Chelsea's piece is a little bit lighter than before, and it doesn't look like they tea-dyed this one. So just, you know, that's just a tip for you if you want to kind of mimic, which is what I try to do. The Life is Just a Bowl of Cross Stitch January. This is the last one in the series, and it just came out. For the Fabulous House series, we do have a pattern club. This is number 2. We are not doing a sew along with this, but someone is. Who is it? I can't remember who it is, but somebody is doing sew along with this. It's not us, but you can definitely sew along with them if you can figure out who it is, just to kind of clear that up because we had some questions. It's Denise from Goose, I think. Tiny Modernist has a new pattern, Winter Traditions Sampler. It says, "Ah, winter, a magical time of year when the moon floats silently about the freshly fallen snow." She also has Mouse's Strawberry Jam. Teresa Kogut has a new pattern that just came out called Santa's Delivery Trio. So there's 3 designs within this pattern. She worked with 141 Design Company to come up with these wooden pieces. So you can see there's the pole right here. Here's the wooden piece. You would need to paint everything, and then it basically has the sled that you can put your pieces on. And these, I believe, are pieced on perforated paper. Black perforated paper, I believe. You'll have to look to make sure I get it right. Erin Elizabeth has a couple new patterns. Tree of Joy and The Night Before Christmas. Those are really cute colors. Robin Pickens has 2 new charts. Winterly Twosome Triangle Ornaments and Seasonal Courier Cardinals Winter. And we are going to be doing a trunk show for Robin Pickens, or with Robin Pickens soon, probably 2 to 3 weeks. And then we have 3 new Primrose Cottage. We have Warm Winter Wishes, Sip, Stitch, Repeat, and Valentine's Day Quaker. This one has been highly requested. There will be a sew along with this with Nicole Spohr, S-P-O-H-R. You can find her. It's called like Stitching with Nicole Spohr on Facebook, and all the information that she's doing. I'm going to stitch this, but I think I'm going to stitch this on different fabric. I am going to add this to my rotation of Be Mine, but now that the pattern has arrived, I will pull the Ripe Melon 3 skeins of that from Classic Colorworks and decide what I'm going to stitch it on. I think she is stitching on Touch of Pink, but I'm not sure. Since this arrived yesterday, I have to have time to like pull it and decide what colors I'm going to use. I might change. I'm definitely going to change the fabric, but I might even change the floss. We'll see. I do like my pieces to kind of mix and match so that when I'm decorating, everything kind of goes together. So I would probably pull a couple things, go home, look at all my decor, see what I think is going to match best to do this, because I will definitely frame this. Just because when I decorate more with frames than I do with pillows. So get this while you can. I'm getting one today. And then I have a giveaway, but I'm going to answer the few questions that we have. And we do have for Teresa Kogut both the pattern and the finishing, both. A seam press roller would be nice for pressing it into the tape. Yeah, that's a great idea. I would just be careful. I'm very clumsy. Let me show you what she's talking about. It's this by Lori Holt. And so what she's talking about is putting the, let me find one. Yeah, so basically she's saying pull this down, and then once it's down, do this. What do you call the magnet things that you clip onto the project when you're working so it holds it for the sewing for you? Those are called Clover Wonder clips. And just these. Now you could get something cheaper at, you know, if you're not a quilter, because these are used for binding and they're pretty expensive. So of course you could use something a little bit cheaper if you're a cross stitcher and you don't want to have to invest. Now they do sell smaller pieces than these big ones. I actually decorate with these. Okay, I do a lot with these in my house. So what I do is I have this jar that's super cute that I found forever ago. Lori Holt found it for me. and it's pink. I think I have a pink one, a blue one. They're so cute, and they're like old-fashioned-y. It clips. It holds, you know, my kids know if I say go get a clip, because I just call them clips at home, they know. I use these to seal up Chips Ahoy because there's this little man in my house that eats like a box a week. His name is Kevin, and he is skinny as he can be, and it drives me crazy that he just can eat Chips Ahoy all day long and stay skinny. I also use this to seal up all of our cereal and all of our bread and all of our chips. And that means if you find one of these in our pantry, that means me or Kevin did it. If you find one and it's not done, that means that one of our 4 children have thought that they could get away with it, and we get really mad and we're like, who left the chips undone? Okay, so these are Wonder Clips, but I'm just saying they are expensive, but I use them for all kinds of things, and I actually have to buy a new set because I actually send these to work with like notes on it for Denise and clip it, and my jar is half full. And I don't want my kids to have an excuse to not close their food, right? Okay. Jody Norton asked, what is the count that's suggested? Model stitched on 32 count blush, 2 threads over 2, stitched by Connie Dunn, finished by Lindsay Wright. They use 3 skeins of Classic Colorworks Ripe Melon. I do know that the sew along that Nicole Spohr is doing, I am like 90% sure she called for Touch of Pink by Witchell. And I did order some. Now, Witchell takes a long time to ship. I found out about the sew along on the weekend. So I have placed an order for Touch of Pink in all of the sizes. They take a long time to ship, so I can't promise when it will be here. The iron that I am using is the Laura Star. I'm going to read it over here so I tell you correctly. Laura Star Smart Use System with a different cover. It's a really expensive iron, but I love it. It is actually like changed. It's been like, if I had to think about something in 2023, that was last year. I have to look at what year it is. It's something that like changed my life for crafting. It would be the Laura Star iron. Super expensive though, super ridiculous, super like, but it's so amazing for my quilt blocks. I love it. But you have to like really have to like justify paying that price. Like I sew, gosh, probably 2,000 hours, 4,000 hours a month, a year. Let me think of how many hours I sew a year. This is how I justify things. Oh, at least 1,000 hours a year. So, I mean, you know, that's how I justify it in my mind, paying that crazy price. Okay, so our giveaway for today is we're going to give away 3 of the Chelsea's Checks Fat Quarter Bundles. And what I want you to do is comment and let me know, what are you looking forward to stitching the most coming up in January, whether it's Valentine's, whether it's fall, whatever. Just tell me some names of some patterns that you're loving, because I do like to see what all of you guys are stitching. And next week will be super exciting because next Wednesday I will be showing you all my stitch along progress. And let me tell you guys, I stitched like crazy. So I have a lot to show you, which is super exciting because I'm already ready for next week. I hope all of you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week.